89.7 KLAS-FM. My name is Richard Harris. And as I did last week, I did a couple segments of The Good, the Bad, the Ugly with the lovely theme music from the movie The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Some people like the theme music, some people don't. And so we're going to do this last segment, the ugly segment of the show, without the music. And hopefully you will like just hearing my dulcet tones, as they would say. So here we go. We've honored the 3 good teams this week. We've honored the 3 bad teams. And the difference between the good and the bad teams is that the bad teams are teams that just played poorly but didn't play ugly. And so, in this final segment, we're going to talk about the ugly teams. And the first team, without question, has to be the Indianapolis Colts. You could talk about all you want to that they don't have Peyton Manning. You can talk all about they don't have the running game that they've had in years past. But those guys don't tackle. The Houston Texans pushed the Colts around and made the Colts look so unprepared that I can't believe Jim Caldwell was so calm after the game in his press conference. And in my opinion, this is a prime example on why every team in the National Football League cannot just rely on one super player to carry you. You have to draft. You have to build teams for 2 years, 3 years at a time. You always have to be thinking of the future. And the Colts have had Peyton Manning run this team for the past 13, 14 years. And he's an amazing player. He has been, by far, one of the best players this league has ever seen. His team has NFL records of winning 12 games seasons. You know, they had 10 in a row. I mean, they've been in the playoffs, it seems like every year. Every year it's one game. It was for a while, it was the Colts and the Patriots would determine who's going to the Super Bowl. This team is horrible. And it's disappointing because they have leaders on that defense that should not have allowed their defense to be pushed around like that. Kerry Collins is a good man. Kerry Collins is a good quarterback. But Kerry Collins' release is about as slow as my release. And I'm 43 years old and I'm 268 pounds. I can't throw the football like I used to. Kerry Collins takes forever to wind up and throw. And that offense is all about timing. And he's only had 3 weeks to work with his team. This team plays Cleveland this weekend. It could get ugly again. I think it'll be a close game because I think the Colts defense will swallow their pride and step up to the plate and get it done. But this game, if Peyton Manning was starting this game, it'd be like a 10-point spread, even if it was at Cleveland. And it's a sad, sad, sad state of affairs in Indianapolis. Another ugly from this past week. The Pittsburgh Steelers. If the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm sorry, Charlie, if the Pittsburgh Steelers can't run the football, they lose. Big Ben has 2 Super Bowl rings, right? He does not get talked about like Sanchez does, who has no rings. Doesn't get talked about like Brady, who has 3 rings. Doesn't get talked about like Manning or Rodgers or Breeze. And the reason why is that those people who I've just mentioned are people who carry their teams to whatever their outcomes are. If Big Ben does not have a running game, he is not effective. If Big Ben is not able to scramble and throw the football on broken plays, he's not effective. And if the Steelers are letting teams push them around like Baltimore pushed them around, forget about it. The Jets last year in the second half of the AFC Championship game probably needed 2 more minutes and they would have won that game. Because the Steelers essentially had that look in their eye like, uh-oh, we can't stop this team. And it took 1 drive and the Steelers got it done. So I got to give them their props for getting it done. But the reality is, no running game, getting pushed around by the Ravens. I am sorry. I picked the Steelers last week as the 2nd best team in all of football last week. I said my top 2 teams were Green Bay and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh showed me absolutely nothing. They look slow. That tight end number 84 on the Ravens ran past Palomalu so fast that when I blinked, he was gone. Disappointed in Pittsburgh. Yes, it's the Ravens, so it's not a cupcake game. Seattle, you got Pittsburgh this week. You're the 3rd team I'm about to talk about. Yikes. Speaking of Seattle, Tavares Jackson, you just got your opportunity to play in the National Football League, to run a team in the National Football League. You're not ready to run this team because You don't know their system. You don't know their plays. Sidney Rice is not playing. You don't have your full complements of receivers. But you don't play defense. And you don't play special teams. Anytime a team allows a punt return and a kickoff return in a 59-second span, that makes you an ugly team. That makes you a team that does not believe in everything that you're doing, because you can't win in the National Football League unless you win all three phases of the game. And Pete Carroll, who started out in special teams and was a defensive back coach, obviously defensive coordinator, head coach, and obviously a success at USC, I guarantee you, he was in that special teams meeting and used language that you couldn't even use if you were a sailor. I mean, he probably lit them up. And I guarantee you they're going to play hard against the Steelers, but they're going to get their butts kicked. And we'll be back with more ugly on 89.7 KLASF FAM after this.